It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com. Give me a follow on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@randywangradio, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. I am a big fan of cooking, and if you've listened to this show for a long time, you're well aware of that. Wasn't always the case. It was something that I've only really gotten into in the last 12 years since I met my wife, which I think today is actually the 12th year anniversary of our first date. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, it was on 12/12, because on 12/13, I was working a Kevin and Bean remote, and I remember that because it was a Friday. So I've been cooking for quite some time, and I've gotten pretty good at it. Now, I'm not perfect. Some of the meals that I make, they turn out really well. Some of the meals that I make, they turn out pretty well. Some of the meals that I make turn out just okay. And every once in a while, I have a big, fat cooking fail. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get discouraged, because there's always another meal that you can make next time. But every once in a while, maybe you're getting a little too much hubris. Maybe, and this is my problem, you think you know the recipe by heart, so you stop looking it up. And you make mistakes. It's part of life. But the only thing you can do is laugh at them and learn from them. So this week, I had a cooking fail. This week, I wanted to make one of our favorite dishes, the only Indian dish we really know how to make, and that is chicken tikka masala. And I love chicken tikka masala because of all the spices that are in it. It is something that pairs so well with a really big red, like a petite Syrah or a really big red blend. It gives us an excuse without having steak or red meat to have some of our really nice dark wines. So I've been making this for a few years, and let me just give you the basics. You need, if you want to do it the easy way, you're going to need chicken thighs. You're going to need regular yogurt, not Greek yogurt, European yogurt, because you need to soak the chicken in the yogurt with a whole bunch of spices. And what are we talking about? We're talking about garam masala, ginger, garlic, chili powder, cumin, cayenne, turmeric. There's a lot that goes in there. Salt and pepper, obviously. So you kind of mix together your yogurt mixture. It's going to start to look kind of brown, but you put that together. You soak your chicken thighs for maybe a day, maybe longer. And you can do this with chicken breasts, but it was always easier when we did with chicken thighs. And there's two schools of thought on this. You can cut the chicken into little cubes first and then soak them. But I don't really like cutting raw chicken. Not a fan. Always freak out about, if any residue of poultry ends up on my cutting board. So I don't do that. I soak the chicken thighs in the yogurt, and then I sear them and then cut them when they're almost cooked and then throw them back in. So it's pretty simple because you've got your chicken thighs that are marinated. You've got onion and tomato sauce. That's most of the main ingredients, at least the way that I learned how to do it. And then you're making, rice on the side. Brown rice is what we usually made. Top it with cilantro. Maybe you finish it with a little cream, but you brown your chicken, then you dice it up. You throw in your onion, you throw in your tomato sauce, you throw in all the same spices that you put in that marinade. Now you put in the sauce, throw back in the chicken, let it cook, simmer down for 20 minutes, add a little bit of cream. It's delightful. It's a great meal, and it's so nice over rice, and a little cilantro on top gives it just the nice amount of green. And again, there's so many flavors. It works so well. So why am I telling you about chicken tikka masala? Because I haven't made chicken tikka masala since we went on this diet. And the diet is over. I've lost 60 pounds. Yay me. I'm taking pictures of myself, and I don't recognize me. It's getting weird. But I made this chicken tikka masala very differently because I'm still trying to adhere to some of the things that we're doing. I'm supposed to be eating a lot less fat. That's what my genetic testing showed, that I don't digest fat nearly as well as I digest protein or carbs. So we're trying to be good about that. A few other things that we're trying to do is cauliflower rice instead of regular rice for almost everything. And for the most part, it works out really well. I'm a big fan of cauliflower rice. Really am. So I figured, okay, I'm going to replace the rice with cauliflower rice. I'm going to, instead of just the European regular full-fat yogurt, why don't we try non-fat Greek yogurt, soak the chicken in that, and why don't we try chicken breasts instead of chicken thighs? Now, at first it looked like this was all going to work out just fine because I made my marinade, I soaked my chicken breast, and I soaked 3 pounds of it because we were going to make a whole bunch of this, so we had food for the whole week. And, we're talking protein-packed, non-fat Greek yogurt, chicken breasts. This is going to be a protein bomb dinner. And then when I went to cook it, I turn on the heat on my stove. I put on my big Le Creuset chef's oven, which I probably use more than any other pan in the house outside of the cast iron. I love it. And we actually got it on sale at Sur La Table for a crazy sale. It was a weird color, but it works for me. I love that thing. I oil the pan, and one of the things that we changed when we went on this diet is we don't just, use regular olive oil or regular avocado oil. I use the spray. I really like the Graza spray. Their Frizzle spray is very high heat and very good. But I don't think I used enough of it because in times past when I have made chicken tikka masala, you oil up the pan, you throw in your chicken, and the chicken that still has some of the yogurt starts cooking and starts browning. But because I used non-fat Greek yogurt and because I used chicken breast and I didn't use that much fat on the pan and I had it on my big burner, which heats up way faster than the other ones, what I used to do was it would be on the small burner because I need the rice on the big burner because I can only make rice properly on the big burner, but we weren't doing rice. So, needless to say, I think you know where I'm going with this. The yogurt on the chicken started burning. The chicken started getting stuck to the pan, and it was not working. I mean, I was able to make that part of it work, but you know how you want a brown pan that then you can deglaze with onions and tomatoes and all those beautiful brown bits go into your food? This was all black now. I quickly learned after I browned the chicken, which took 2 batches, that, okay, my Le Creuset is unusable and I'm going to need to soak it for the rest of the night. More on that later. So I pull out a stock pot. I put the right amount of oil in. I do the onions. I do the tomato sauce. I throw back in the chicken after I cut it up into little pieces. It ended up working out fine. I did cauliflower rice instead of regular rice, and it was still pretty good. I think I may have cooked the cauliflower rice maybe a little too long because it started to disintegrate, but it was really good. And we're having some of it tonight, by the way. And what's been nice is we've tried it with a different red wine every night. Last night we had some of it with a 2011 Foxen Pajarito, which is a Merlot and Petit Verdot blend. That worked out really well. But my cooking fail led me to spend 2 hours cleaning what is usually one of the easiest things to clean in the house, my Le Creuset, because I buy that solution that you can get at Sur La Table, and it works great. And what do you know? I am good to go. It just wipe it down. Most of the stains come right off because that enameled cast iron is very high quality. No. I soaked the pan and I scrubbed it. And you can't use anything heavier. You can't use steel wool. It's enameled cast iron. You can't use chainmail. It's not cast iron. It's enameled cast iron. You don't want to ruin that. So I soaked it and scrubbed it and soaked it and scrubbed it and soaked it and scrubbed it. Tried using my solution. That wasn't working. Tried using it again. That wasn't working. Finally, I did a little Google search, and it turns out if you're really desperate, what you can do is take that pan, which I had gotten a good portion of it out, but there were some really stubborn spots, and this was driving me crazy because I don't want to ruin this pan. I love this pan, and it was for something so silly. Why couldn't I have just put more fat in the pan? So I ended up learning that you can boil water with 2 tablespoons of baking soda, let it simmer for 10 minutes, and all that stuff that stuck to the pan magically comes loose. It worked out. It was really cool. But it wasn't a huge fail, but I consider it a cooking fail because it was such a mess and I had to spend so much time cleaning up. So that's a mistake I'll never make again. But it had me thinking about some of the cooking disasters that have happened in the past. And there's been a few, only a few that we really, really remember. Every once in a while, I make something and maybe the flavoring just wasn't what my wife expected, or I didn't brown the vegetables enough. But there were a few circumstances, a few cooking scenarios in the last 10 years where it was just a complete disaster. And so I'm going to share that with you today. The biggest cooking disasters that I have ever done. My biggest cooking fails, because I've learned from every single one of them. And I've also learned it's not a big deal. It happens to everybody. And sometimes I need to be humbled, because sometimes my hubris is so that I know exactly what I'm doing and I don't need to look at any recipes. Let me give you for instance. This is another small one, but this was a foolish decision that I could have rectified. A couple of weeks ago, we wanted to make chili. It was cold, it was rainy, it was the perfect weather for it. I had so much lean beef in the fridge. I had bought some beans. I bought all the ingredients except one very crucial ingredient that you need for chili powder. That's chili powder. I didn't bring chili powder. I thought we had some, we didn't. And instead of, I had my prep going, I had turned the stove on, but I could have turned it off, gone around the corner to the grocery store, picked up my chili powder, but I didn't do that. Instead, I'm like, well, what else do we have that could work? So I look up in the top of my pantry and I have some ancho chili powder that we got from New Mexico many years ago, probably too long. I'm like, maybe that'll work. And then I start Googling, and you ever start Googling to the point where you're just trying to fulfill your own idiotic prophecy? I'm like, wait, what if I mix this with, what do I have? Oh, I have Chipotle chili powder. So I mixed ancho chili powder and Chipotle chili powder because I thought they would cancel each other out and just make chili powder. It wasn't bad, but it definitely didn't taste like chili the way you think it would. So what did I learn from that one? Always keep chili powder stocked in the house. And when you're making something like chili, don't try to make it if you don't have chili powder. I could have gone and got it. I could have told my wife, hey, we need chili powder. So lesson learned. A couple of years ago, we were getting really into, I make some great pasta sauces. I have talked about them on the show. And one of the pasta sauces I love to make is a bolognese, a meat sauce. And one of the things that I love about it, outside of that, it's just so great with wine. And it's so much, I sometimes will do beef and an Italian pork sausage. One time we did beef and we did boar sausage. That was incredible. But one of the things that I like about that meal is it's also vegetable packed. You've got your carrots, your celery, your onion, your mirepoix. You cook it long enough, they all just kind of disintegrate into the sauce, but you've got all those healthy veggies in there. So for some reason, I got into my head that, what would make this pasta sauce even better is if I really upped the veggies in it. Really try to get as much nutrients as I can in this thing, because it's not like I have to chop them. I use the Ninja, I blend it all, then I throw it in there. For some reason, I thought, hey, I'm using an entire stalk of celery. I'm going to use an entire bag of carrots, which is a pound of carrots for a pasta sauce. And turns out, when you use that many carrots, the sauce turns orange, and it tastes a little too much like carrot to enjoy. Cooking fail. Another pasta sauce we like to make is pasta puttanesca. Usually what we do is we do it with seared tuna the first night, save the sauce for a couple of nights, and then do it with Italian sausage. It's great. Well, usually when we do a tuna puttanesca, we use capers and mushrooms and onion and tomato paste and tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes. It's great. We used to use olives instead of capers. And for some reason, and a puttanesca sauce is a very creative sauce. It can be whatever, literally, it can be whatever you just have on hand. But for some reason, I was like, oh, it shouldn't have that much tomato in it. So instead of doing a whole thing of crushed tomatoes, I'm just going to do tomato paste. And, I really like the flavor of olives. What if we pour the entire jar of olives in there, including the brine? So I didn't use much tomato, and I put a whole bunch of olive brine in the pasta sauce. That did not taste good. Cooking fail. Many, many, many years ago, I was trying to emulate my wife, who is a master of guacamole. She makes the best guac I have ever had, that I ever will have. It's incredible. Although I haven't had the guacamole of our screener Mondo, and I'm sure that's incredible too. At some point, I'm sure I'll get to try it. But her guac is very limey, and I have tried to make it myself several times, and I've gotten very good at it because sometimes she's a little too busy to be making the guac. So I was making guac. I had my avocados, I had my garlic, I had my jalapeno, I had my onion, and for some reason, and I don't know why, I don't know if I just wasn't thinking or I just thought onion sounds good. Instead of putting like a slice of onion in a bowl of guacamole, I put a whole onion in the bowl of guacamole. I don't know why. I thought, oh, this will be great. Didn't work out so well. To this day, I will get mocked for onion guac, and deservedly so, because it was terrible. But these are all minor mistakes. They're mostly for a laugh, and I learned a lesson. There's one cooking fail from early in my cooking career that was a complete disaster. It was the winter of 2014. It was getting very cold. I was a new cook, didn't know a whole lot, was really into the crock pot. Loved making salsa chicken in the crock pot, which is just chicken breasts, jar of salsa, let it go. Easiest meal in the world. Put some onions and black beans in there. Great, simple dinner. Still love to do that. It's great. Well, I was getting really into making chicken noodle soup. And we actually had, you would think of it as a fail, but it was like a fail that turned into the greatest success of all time. I was making chicken noodle soup in the crock pot. And we had our chicken, and we had our mirepoix, and I had seen these Trader Joe's lemon pappardelle noodles. This is before we went gluten-free. And I put them in the crock pot and for like the last hour and put the crock pot on high. The noodles kind of disintegrated, but they disintegrated in the best way ever, where it just became part of the sauce, a part of the soup, and it was so flavorful, and it turned out to be really, really, really good. So we started making that like every couple of weeks, and that was kind of my thing. I'd make this chicken noodle soup that had these absorbed lemon pappardelle noodles. Well, for some reason, I thought, you know what? I want to up the ante. I want to improve this recipe. I can make it even better because you know what? If we're slow cooking this chicken and we were using boneless, skinless chicken breasts, what if I did bone in, skin on chicken thighs? Again, I was a much younger person. I still hadn't quit weed. I put bone in, skin on, uncooked, unbrowned chicken thighs in a crock pot with broth and vegetables and noodles. And then served it to my wife. And when I served her rubbery chicken skin with bones in a soup bowl, I grossed her out so much. To this day, 10 years later, she cannot have chicken noodle soup. I ruined chicken noodle soup for her. And that is my biggest cooking fail of all time. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. If you'd like to email us, you could do so at randywangradio@gmail.com. Robert writes in and says, it's too bad you didn't tell that skillet story on Johnny's show where you could have had Javier Baccaria help you out.
Scrub it.
I have to drop here. I just wasn't thinking about it at the time, but that is very true. This was me the other night.
Scrub it. Yes. But when you do the scrub it, scrub it.
That was me over and over and over again. Cooking fail. Michael writes in at Randy Wang Radio at gmail.com. A puttanesca without anchovies is hearsay. Putative means we're whore in Italian, and the whores made it with anchovies, hence puttanesca. I know the story. It's a funny story, but my wife doesn't like anchovies. Hey, do I have something nice for you? 790 KABC welcomes Toto to the Long Beach Amphitheater on August 14th, 2026. Tickets on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, call in number 9 at 1-888-795-2222. Gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing. When we come back, I'm going to tell you where my third leg of my big European vacation is going to be. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com. You can give me a follow on YouTube, youtube.com/@randywangradio. I just posted a little tiny short of all the things I picked up at Trader Joe's for a little wine country picnic tomorrow, and that video's blowing up. The videos that I put the least amount of effort into seem to do a lot better than the videos that I work very hard on, but I'm just learning how this whole YouTube thing works. And of course, search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts, which, by the way, you can get that on YouTube. That's where a lot of people are watching and listening to their podcasts these days. So for the last few weeks, I have been telling you all about my European vacation. It's coming up very soon. And it's the first time I've ever been this far. The only times I have been outside of this country are 3 hours in Tijuana when I was 18. That doesn't count. Someday I'll tell the story of that trip because I did a lot of we all did a lot of dumb things when we were that young. But oh my goodness, that trip was just a whole bunch of mistakes. It's probably be better if I just told you the story, but I don't feel like it today. We'll save it for another day. We'll have people call in and we'll do Tijuana stories so we can all share in the idiocy together. But I did that in 2014. One of the first trips that my wife took me on when we were just dating was to Costa Rica. That was incredible. Big fan. Outside of that, never been out of the country. Been off the mainland twice, went to Hawaii twice, and went to Puerto Rico last year. And I loved Puerto Rico. And I also loved Hawaii. Been to the Big Island, been to Maui. So there's a lot I haven't traveled to. There's also a lot in this country I haven't traveled to. Let's see, how many states have I been to? I've been to California, obviously. I've been to Washington because I went to Seattle once. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Arizona. I've been to New Mexico. I've been to Nevada. I've been to Texas. I've been to Georgia and Alabama, but those both count for one wedding. But sure, we'll count it. I was just driving through Georgia to get to Alabama. And I've been to New York. I've only been to 10 out of the 50 states. So I got work to do on that. But there's a whole big portion of the world I've never been to, and that's why we're fixing it now. I had time off. My wife had time off. And the whole idea was we've been saving up so many credit card points for the last 5 years. It's time to take the honeymoon we could never take in 2020 because, COVID. So we were able to, I started looking at every deal possible. Every single website. I have a ton of points with a whole bunch of different programs. Something's going to hit. I found out that there was a flight from Los Angeles to Dublin. So that was our first leg. Then it was like, what do we want to do? Look for places with Christmas markets. Look for places that would actually be open and not shut down on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So we decided leg 2 was going to be Amsterdam, which, by the way, we took calls in Amsterdam, and I found some pretty cool stuff to do in Amsterdam. I'm really excited. We've got some dinners booked. We've got the canal cruise for the Amsterdam Light Festival booked. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're in walking distance to pretty much everything. But what's funny is I did a whole hour talking about Amsterdam, and we all know that our phones spy on us. It's not news. Like, we know they do it, but it's just a part of life. After I did that show, I cannot even begin to tell you how many things showed up on my Instagram about Amsterdam like I was already there. And thank goodness that it did, because what do you know? I saw some influencers in Amsterdam talking about a restaurant that I am so excited to go to, because it is a restaurant that has something called the cheese train. What is the cheese train, you ask? So as soon as I saw a video of this, I'm like, oh, I got to go there. We're going to the Kasbah in Amsterdam. And the Kasbah in Amsterdam, you literally have to reserve to sit at the bar, or you can sit at the restaurant, but the bar is really where you want to do. Imagine a revolving sushi bar like, Yamato, except the conveyor belts are full of nothing but 30 different kinds of fancy Dutch cheese. So you sit there, you consume wine, which it's Europe, so wine is affordable, and you try all these kinds of different cheeses. I'm so excited about the wine train. It sounds so much fun. I can't wait. It's going to be great. So that's the second leg of our trip. Now let me reveal to you the final leg of this 10-day European adventure. We're starting in Ireland, then we're going to the Netherlands, and then we've been talking about this for many, 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 many years. We are flying to Spain, España, specifically 3 days in Madrid. I love Spanish food. I love Spanish wine. My wife double majored in Spanish, and she's actually spent like the last few weeks on Duolingo reteaching herself, so she'll be perfectly fluent by the time we get there. I got so excited when I saw the most recent season of Conan O'Brien's travel show, Conan O'Brien Must Go, where he went to Madrid with Javier Bardem, and it's a hilarious episode, but it got me so excited about going there, about seeing Spain, about experiencing Spain. My wife went a few times as a kid, so she knows a little more about it than I do, obviously, but I love the culture. I love the food. I love the idea of a long Spanish dinner that starts at 8 o'clock and goes on till the night goes. The siestaing. Oh, the wines. We're trying to decide if we're going to just stay in the city because it's only like 3 days. We can't really be going all around the country. Don't know if we have time to get to Ribera del Duero or to any of the big wine regions, although there's some architecture in some of the smaller cities that she really wants to see. So we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. We like to go on YouTube and start watching just tons of influencer videos of people that have traveled there. And gosh, you could just go into a little wine bar and try all different kinds of Spanish wine from every region. There's so many regions I haven't even heard of in Spain. And of course, I love Spanish cheese. I picked up a bunch of cheeses for a picnic tomorrow because we're going to wine country. And I got to tell you, one of my favorite Trader Joe's cheeses, Manchego Añejo. Regular Manchego, also great. Love a good Manchego. But the Manchego Añejo, oh, that is something special. So I'm going to Spain. I'm going to Madrid. If you get any tips for me, anything that maybe you've been to Spain before, maybe you've been to Spain a lot, maybe you want to give me some advice, you can email me at randywangradio@gmail.com. That's randywangradio@gmail.com. And you can also give me a call, 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. Give me some travel tips as I'm going to Spain. If you're on hold, stay right there. We'll get to your calls next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. If you'd like to email us, you can do so at randywangradio@gmail.com. Mike writes in and says, watch Peter Greenway's movie Night Watching before going to the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. In Madrid, go to the Prado and the Reina Sofia are two of the greatest museums in the world. Velázquez at Prado, Picasso at Reina Sofia. I think we're definitely going to the Prado. I'm super excited about that. You know what else I'm excited about? I don't think we're going to get in because we cannot get a reservation, but maybe we'll try to walk in. I want to go to Restaurante Botín, that one of the oldest restaurants in the world from 1725. Get that suckling pig. I don't think we'll get in, but doesn't hurt to try. Let's go to Jaylene in West Hills. Jaylene, hello.
Hello, Randy. Hi, love your show, and I certainly enjoyed meeting you at Pineapple Hill recently. And
oh, that was a good time.
I have a picture of you and I together. Thank you so much for letting me take a picture of both of us together. Anyway, you said that you love cauliflower. Okay, this is very simple. What I do, I have a stainless steel basket concoction. I just put it in my regular pan, my 2-quart thing with water and below. I steam that cauliflower after I break it up into flowerets. Break it up. I steam it till it's pretty soft. Only a few minutes, 15 minutes, okay. Take it out, put it in my bowl, mash it with my hand potato masher, and then salt, pepper. I put some wonderful olive oil. I know you told you have a special good olive oil that you use. My olive oil, salt and pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It replaces potatoes, and I hear that cabbage is really, really good for us. It's good roughage, fiber. Woo! So, I mean, it's a simple way to do it, and it won't burn. So, I hope you enjoy that little tidbit.
I love it. Thank you so much. And Jaylene, hope to see you at the next event. Thanks so much for calling in, Jaylene. Appreciate it. We'll have to take a new selfie because I'm 60 pounds lighter now. Let's go to Dan in West Hills. Dan, hello.
Hi, hello. You're talking about travel internationally?
Yes.
What I would recommend, as much as you want to have the nerve to do it, think about traveling on your own. Do the research, do some independent work, and stuff happens. I had the opportunity to do a 90-day trip along the Mediterranean, 2 months in Italy and a month in Greece. I'm not a rich guy, but because I did it myself with my wife, who's a spectacular traveler, we went 90 days for $18,000. Now, this is back in 2001. This is completo, everything. $200 a day, air travel, the whole deal. You did it yourself. You're not paying other people to do it. You take some chances, but sometimes the wonderful things happen. Can I have a moment to tell you the wonderful thing?
Yeah.
So we're traveling around. We're in Greece. We're looking for an archaeological site that UCLA, I think, contributes to, or USC, and we're wandering around. We see the site, and all of a sudden we say, well, it's lunchtime. Where can we go? And we're wandering around. We can't find anything. I'm starting to eat with her the crackers and the peanuts that are in the back of the car. You know, we have a rental car. We're starting to eat that stuff. We're hungry as hell. All of a sudden we see cars. We go into the place where the cars are and say, can we get something to eat? And the people there say, sure. It's a double baptism. Come on in. These are Greek people. We go in. They say all you can eat is what the Greek people are eating. It's a service for the double baptisms. We go in, we're eating. All of a sudden, we're sitting there, and 2 gentlemen come in suits with big pitchers of wine, and they sit down next to us and they say, "Hello, you are friends from another country, we believe. Why don't you sit down and enjoy some hospitality with us?" They start pouring wine. Where are you from? We say the United States. We're from Greece. And it just goes on from there. And finally, one fellow could speak English, the other couldn't. And the fellow who spoke English said this. He said to me, "My friend who cannot speak English said to me he wants to apologize for the fact that he cannot give you hospitality because he cannot speak English from people like you." And I looked at him, and I had a moment of brilliance, and I said to him, "Don't you talk to him about what he cannot tell me. I am from another country. I am in his country. I am enjoying his hospitality. I apologize that I cannot speak Greek." And God,
I
they
love
went
that.
crazy.
What I've heard, the
They went
hospitality
crazy.
of people in those countries, they so want to do everything they can for you. I'm so excited about it. We're running late for a break, Dan, but thanks so much for the story. Appreciate it. Pritchard, stay on hold. We're coming to you next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Pritchard in La Habra. Pritchard, hello.
Hi, Randy. We're so excited for your trip because you're going to three of the most beautiful places in Europe, and the people are amazing. But Spain is one of our favorite, and it is my mom's ancestral homeland. You'll be about 4 hours from that, Herencia. That would be La Ciudad de la Mancha, which is where Cervantes was inspired to do Don Quixote. But in Spain, when you're in Madrid, you can just walk your way from top of bar to top of bar and have a blast. But I do recommend, in between all of your drinking and eating, try the Prado. And if they have the Delph exhibit still there, you would be blown away because you think you're walking through this exhibit of these etched crystals, ships and vases and unbelievable things. They're all made from minerals, and they're totally transparent, and it's to die for. But then you also have to say hello to my favorite painting by Velázquez, Le Magnon. But have a blast. You're going to just have a wonderful time. Spain is incredible. I just wish you all the good luck.
Well, thank you so much. I will report back to you. I'm so excited about this trip. Like every single day, my wife and I look at each other. And it's like, we've only got a few more days, until this actually happens. It's real. And I'm so psyched about it. Pritchard, thank you so much for the call. You've got me amped up. And now I'm not going to be able to sleep. Thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it. Can I just tell you, by the way, this almost wasn't real because we booked the flight to Dublin. And then we booked the flight to Amsterdam. And then we booked the flight to Madrid. But we hadn't booked a flight home. And the idea was, okay, that flight will open up at some point. It didn't for the longest time, up until an overnight flight from Madrid to Texas opened up. And we're like, let's take that because another one probably won't open up. But if it does, they're points. We can cancel them. So far, and here we are, we're almost there. Another flight never opened up. If we didn't get that flight immediately at that time that we could afford, we wouldn't have been able to come home, which means the whole trip wouldn't have happened. Have a great weekend, everyone. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.